welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverly and it's just really nice to see you today. So today I wanted to have a little chitty chat with you guys about podcasts. I love podcasts. Me and my husband fall asleep to podcasts every night, but there are two that we definitely stay awake to listen to, and we watch them sometimes 2 or 3 times. But before I get into that, I'm going to do the same as I always do. Please guys, if you're not yet subscribed, consider clicking that little button down there, ringing that little bell so you always know when I upload. It would mean a lot to me, and when I get to 500 subscribers I'm doing a giveaway, so make sure you hit that little bell for me, and yeah, that would be really cool. So my 2 favourite podcasts, I don't think I need to explain to you what a podcast is, but my 2 favourite podcasts are Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum and Mile Higher Podcast. Both of these podcasts are extremely different from one another, but I just really love them, and neither of them get as much exposure or as many people like listening to them as I think they deserve, and so I just wanted to dedicate one of my videos to them, and hopefully you guys will discover them and share this out to people so that other people can listen to them as well. So the first one I want to talk about is Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. He's also on there with his producer Rob, who basically was the one who suggested that he do a podcast, and he's like the sound engineer and he keeps on top of everything. I think he's the one that makes sure he sits down and records one every week. So very thank you to you, Rob. Very much thank you. Michael Rosenbaum, as anybody who knows me at all, if you've been on my channel for a while, you will know that I love Michael Rosenbaum. He played Lex Luthor on Smallville, if you didn't know. Greatest Lex Luthor that will ever be. It doesn't matter how many Lex Luthors become in a DC verse or have been before, nobody can beat him. But he's also a great comedic actor, and he's a lot deeper than he likes to give out at first. Like, you think he's this funny guy who just wants to have a laugh, but this podcast has really shown a different side to him. He's had sporting people on there, he's had actors on there. I don't really know much sport, and I don't really follow a lot of sport, so I haven't listened to the sport ones yet. That's me being honest, I don't know who those people are, but if you're into sport, definitely give it a listen. He's spoken to people like Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow. He has Dax Shepard, Seth Green, I've got a list of all the people here, Seth Green, Karen Gillan, James Gunn, Emily Kinney, Tom Welling, Michael Rooker, Henry Winkler. And the thing that's amazing is he's had people on the podcast that have never done interviews like this, never done podcasts before. But he also has people on there who've been interviewed to death. Like, there's some people that you just think, okay, I've read every interview this person's given. I've watched them on television, I know what shows they've been on. What else? I mean, what else can they say? It's just going to be the same as always. But Michael has this way of making people feel comfortable, and because a lot of the people that he has on as guests he's known for a long time, or he knows through just being in the business for as long as he has been, they trust him. He used to video it, so you used to be able to watch it on YouTube, but you can only listen on YouTube now. He doesn't video it because it's kind of like therapy. He asks deep questions about people's lives, and he focuses more on like their childhoods, their friendships, their love lives, their family, what it was like growing up, rather than what film have you been in and what are you trying to promote this time. It's a lot deeper than your usual average podcast. And that's what I love about it. I love that he asks questions that most people don't ask, but I also love the fact that he doesn't actually ask that many questions. When he first started, he was I mean, this will sound awful, but he almost talked too much. Now he's got into his rhythm and he's found his way of interviewing, and he kind of steps back and just lets that person talk, and it's like two old friends having a chat, and that's what I love about it. It feels cozy, it feels comfortable. I can relax when I'm listening to Michael interviewing because the people he's interviewing are relaxed. They're not sat there all stiff in their best designer clothes trying to promote their latest film with a list of things that they can and can't say. It's just friends chatting, and he asks them just really insightful questions. He does his research, but he's the first one to laugh when it's, you know, when the person goes, that's not true. And it's only happened a couple of times because he's just so good at researching, and I'm not sure if it's him who researches or Rob, because I'm not sure how, like, they've never explained just how involved Rob is. I know he's very much involved in the technical side, and at first he never spoke. He was just the guy in the background, and I think he was quite shy to speak up, but he's really come out of his shell now, and he'll fact check in the background and stuff. But 90% of it is just the person being interviewed talking, and it's inspiring. And you can tell that after every interview, Michael feels like he's been in therapy. He's learned how to cope with things. He's heard people talk about, okay, when my parent died, this is how I coped, or when my career stopped going where I wanted it to go, this is how I coped, etc., etc. And he kind of takes things that people say and takes it on himself, and I find that really, really inspiring as well, that Michael is so humble that he would listen to people and take on board what they're saying. And I can tell that he's changing a lot. If you listen to the earlier ones and you listen to them now, he seems a lot calmer and a lot more relaxed. He meditates now, and I don't know, just seeing the way he's been so open to changing, so open to learning how to interview. I wish this was a TV series. I would watch the heckers out of it if it was on Netflix or something. Oh yes, I would love that. But just for how it is now, I'm just really enjoying every episode I listen, especially if I really know that person. Like the Henry Winkler, I met him a few years ago, and he was so lovely. And Colin Hanks, I've been a fan of. I became a fan of because I watched a film he did with Alan Tudyk, and I just was like, oh my god, where have you been my whole life? His acting is just incredible. And I've seen a few things that he's done on YouTube, and he's just been really funny. So I was like, when it was announced that he was going to be on the podcast, I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, yes, now I'm going to get to know more about this guy who's just an incredible actor. But also he reminds me a lot of Michael. They seem very similar, a bit like kindred spirits, and I was just really happy that they were friends. And they were like, we're going to have to get together more and be friends more, because now they've just both been really open with each other. And I feel like that's what Michael's getting out of it, is just deeper friendships with people, and I hope that he keeps it up. Yeah, it's just a really great podcast. I really, really love it and would recommend it to anyone, even if you just listen to the actors that you like, or the sports episodes, or if you listen to the whole thing, just listen. You will not regret it. The second podcast I wanted to talk about is Mile Higher. So this podcast is done by two YouTubers, they're husband and wife, Kendall Ray and Josh Thomas. He used to be known as Josh Lador, but it's just Josh Thomas now. They both have separate YouTube channels that they upload to weekly. I will leave links to everything down below, but they both do very different videos. Kendall does a lot about people who are missing and true crime, and Josh does a lot about like future technologies and mysteries, like mysterious noises that have been heard and aliens and UFOs and that sort of thing. And the two came together and they've done this podcast, and oh my gosh, it's so good. So they cover things like true crime, aliens, conspiracy theories, missing people, a little bit of politics in there as well, and just general like mysteries, things that we're all like, I don't know. And it blows your mind. Every single episode blows your mind. They did a whole series about the 5 families. If you don't know who the 5 families are, they're like the 5 richest and most powerful families. They own, like, one of the families owns the patents to like a lot of the chemicals that and plastics that we use. One of them like basically owns all the money in America. And they're 5 families. They all interbreed and they basically rule the whole world. They are in charge of everything. Now you can believe it or not, but that's the reality that we live in. They yeah, it's terrifying to me. I watched those episodes and I was petrified afterwards. I was just like, oh my god. They do episodes on things that will frighten you, but not in like a, oh my god, a monster's coming to get me, but more like, oh my gosh, the politicians, the people in charge who are making decisions. It's all real life conspiracies, things that, you know, yeah, things that really will blow your mind and really open your mind. That's what they want to do. They want to open your mind. They want you to go off and research things. They want us to stop being little robots. You know, we're born free thinking people, and then we go to school, they stick a uniform on us, they teach us all the same things, how to think the same way, then they spit us out where we either sink or swim. They don't really care. And they want us to stop that, and they want us to start really researching, really knowing the world around us and how this society works. It is fascinating, so interesting, and the amount of work that they put into every single episode is incredible, because they bring out an episode every single week, and every week the amount of knowledge and research they put into it. Like they did an episode about Egypt, and they do a lot about ancient civilizations. They also cover like recent news, so if anything's like a bit off the road, you know, that's not going to be front page, but it should be. Like the fact that in China, I remember this week in China they did they discovered this like pyramid like structure, and they're like, why are they always pyramids, these ancient structures? What is it about a pyramid? What did they get out of it? What did it do? And they ask questions, and then you watch the episode, and at the end of it you're just like, yeah, why are they always that? And why are they always hieroglyphs? And why is it always that? And it makes you think. I remember my dad always telling me that history is written by the people who win, and that is true. I think the history that we're taught in schools is often not the truth. I mean, just look up Christopher Columbus. Don't trust what you've been told at school. Go and read about the geezer, because he did not discover America. It's terrifying. Like, there's so many things like that, and they get you thinking and they get you questioning. And I want so many people to open their minds and to start learning and being free thinkers and free spirits that we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be all the same. Do you know what I mean? I hope this makes sense. But anyway, that's what I love about the podcast. It definitely, me and my husband, we watch it every week. When he's off work, we sit down and we spend a day catching up on all of Josh and Kendall and the Mile Higher podcast and all their videos. And at the end of the day, we're just like, I can't believe I mean, can you believe when we have like these deep conversations, and it's probably my favourite time of the week to spend with my husband. I really, really love it. And it's just opening your mind up and just thinking and being more aware of what's going on around you. It's really important, and I hope and pray that all of you will get a lot out of these podcasts, you know. So definitely go and give them a listen. Definitely go and check out Michael's podcast as well. I will leave links to the websites and all the places where you can listen to these things. I think both of them are on all platforms, so if you look them up on Spotify and iTunes and all the usual places, you'll probably find them. But you can also listen to them on YouTube, so I will leave links to those channels and their official websites. If you already listen to these podcasts, definitely get chatting to me down below, because I love them so much. Just mind-blowing, opening your heart up, opening your mind up, so important. And I definitely encourage you to at least listen to one podcast of theirs, at least. And if you've got any podcast suggestions, is there any podcasts that you listen to and you're like, oh, it sounds like Beverley would like that, definitely leave them down below, because I'm always open to, you know, finding new things to listen to. And that's why I really wanted to come and do this, because I hope that you will find new things that you can listen to and just find new interests and hobbies and things. Podcasts are so fun. I listen to them a lot when I'm falling asleep. Not these podcasts, but we do listen to them, me and my husband, because I find that if with my depression and anxiety, as soon as I lie down to go to sleep, that's when my mind starts overworking, and that's when I can't kind of let go of how it feels, if that makes sense. And because of that, it keeps me awake. And so if I have a podcast going, I listen to the podcast and I can fall asleep without letting my thoughts get to me, and then insomnia takes over, and then we're in all sorts of problems. But I just wanted to say thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by Halloween. That would be amazing. That's my goal. So I really encourage you to subscribe. I will have a new video out for you on Friday, and I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye.